Hi. Welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Lori Lothian. We're going to talk today about August the 11th, when the star Sirius will be rising, called it heliacal rising, meaning we'll be able to start to see it now in the sky again after it's been out of the sky for about, I think, 70 days. And during this magical rising of this powerful spiritual star, the dog star, which was revered by ancient Egyptians, the Masons had a hand in it. We'll get to that in the founding of America. And it's associated with spiritual wisdom and illumination. It is also confused with the whole Stargate, Lionsgate, August 8th thing. That's the title of this video. We do have Sirius rising, nowhere near Leo, nowhere in the sign of Leo. Sirius is always at the Cancer 14-degree mark. It's not going to change. It's a fixed star. So what we do have, however, is we do have a very interesting magical day 3 days after August the 8th, which is the 11th, when which Sirius rises at the very same time that in the sky you'll see Venus in a lovely trine to Pluto, with the moon conjunct her. So I think there's a lot of magic and power. So we're going to do an all signs about August 11th and Sirius risings, Venus power for you. Now I want to share these earrings before I get going. You know, guys, I moved to a Venus line, astrocartography. I've been talking about it for a while back in Vancouver, Canada. And I'm kind of laughing because I was out today and anyway, out and about, and I saw these earrings and they're not that expensive, but they're so fun. And they remind me so much of like an Egyptian vibe, but also the vibe of Leo, right? This yellow top, and we're in Leo season. The sun is in Leo. So let's talk about then how this powerful time is going to look for each of us, but what it could mean for the world. Now let's talk about very briefly, before I go to the world and each of us, let's talk about your obligation to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Oh, it just helped my channel grow. Thank you. And check my description box below for things like sales, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. You can get every month 2 people win a free reading with me, and you get a 30% discount coupon for readings with me as well by just subscribing to my free weekly forecast newsletter. Finally, a friend of mine named Chloe Plasma, who's incredible intuitive and artist, is teaching a course called the Art of Intuitive Action. And I think I'm going to be teaching a module in one of the weeks. And if you want to check that out, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I love everything she does. She's a brilliant teacher. She, in fact, is a history professor. And she's also an astrologer and an electoral astrologer and a talismanic jewelry maker. So check out the link to Chloe's class, The Art of Intuitive Action, and join me in that class if you think it might be fun for you. Okay, so, and I don't get a share of all that, guys. I'm just promoting something I love and believe in. All right, so first of all, the founding fathers of the United States of America were Masons, okay? Masonry is basically a mystical and magical knowledge and wisdom cult of some kind, you know, where they're preserving wisdom and trying to hand it down. And of course, they're preserving it from the Christian Inquisition, basically. And it's interesting because in Masonry, there's something called the blazing star of Masonry. And that symbol of the star, which looks like a cartoon star, has been speculated to be the Star of Bethlehem and honoring the birth of Jesus and all of that. But if you dig a little deeper, you're going to come to the conclusion that most esotericists do, that this star is Sirius, the dog star. Why? Why would I say that? Who cares about the Masons and the founding fathers of the United States and the dog star Sirius, which is a binary star system, Sirius A and B. It's extremely bright. And it was considered by a lot of the ancient world, including the Dogon tribe of Africa, to be a part of our spiritual heritage as humans, that we were seeded from beings from that star system. So just keep that in mind. It's very magical. And in Egypt, it was connected to the god Anubis and the idea of ushering souls safely across the passage to the afterlife, after death, okay? So it's a mystical, magical, spiritual star. Well, guess what? The founding fathers of the United States decided to create the United States on the day of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and line it up to the time and day that, what? That the sun was shining in the sky, our sun on our solar system, at 14 degrees of Cancer. So the United States birth chart, the Sibley birth chart, stamps in the Sirius star, which is a part of the whole myth of the Lionsgate portal on 8/8. Lionsgate portal is a new age thing. It's not an ancient thing. We'll talk about this a bit in a sec. But you got to imagine, like, they didn't do this on accident. In fact, I dug up some esoteric Masonic words about the blazing star, and maybe I'll read them to you. And I was really doing the research, and like literally it was meant to be the union with God. Like that star Sirius represents to, you know, unite with the divine impulse in the Mason world. The blazing star is the star of uniting one's will with the divine will, or uniting with God. They put a letter G in the middle, which is also a symbol of the letter, the yod in Hebrew. It's all very mystical and magical. So they decided to sign the Independence Declaration on the day that the sun was at 14 degrees of Cancer. Right? Think about that. Can't make that stuff up. Right on the dog star. Okay, so those Masons knew what they were doing. They wanted to stamp in a very auspicious spiritual sun for the birth of the United States. So keep that in mind as we think about this week ahead, because on August 11th, the star is connected to the sun of the United States, and therefore when it becomes visible, we can maybe expect some things in the United States to become visible after being invisible for a while. And depending on what else is happening in the sky, those things will be X, Y, or Z. We'll look at that together when I show the chart. Secondly, the whole Stargate thing, you know, Lionsgate thing or whatever, portal, the Lionsgate portal is opening. Excuse me. I just think it's a bunch of, you know, new age stuff. So it is, because, you know, there is no alignment between Sirius, and there's no alignment between Earth and the sun in Sirius, because it can't be. Sirius is in Cancer. The sun is right now in Leo. They're beside each other in the zodiac. In fact, they're even in an inversion. Second of all, the reason that this was such a revered thing, the idea of Sirius rising in the ancient tradition of Egypt, was because back in the old days, you know, because the precession of the equinoxes moves the sky around, and we're now like, you know, approximately a degree every 72 years, everything changes. So what was rising on the spring equinox, the vernal equinox, and the summer solstice, and all of those points that we look at around the earth was different, okay? Like let's say 4,000, 3,000 years ago, when the Egyptians loved to commemorate the Sirius rising at the solstice, because it foretold the summer solstice, because it foretold what? It foretold the flood of the Nile. It was a harbinger that the Nile River was about to flood. And so we all know the solstice is in June, right? And we know now that everyone's going, oh, Sirius and the Lionsgate portal in August every year, sometimes late July to August. Well, it's 8/8, so it's August. And nothing to do with what the ancient world was commemorating Sirius for. It was a star that was showing up on the solstice, the 21st of June, at the time that was their marker for the Nile River was going to flood. The time of fertility was here. It corresponded with like the astrology of agronomy, you know, agriculture. Okay, next. Oh, okay. Because Venus is trine Pluto with the sun conjunct, as I said in my new moon video, if you haven't seen it, go back and listen. There's going to be an extension of the new moon that happens on August 8th into translating the light of that sun into the Venus conjunct moon. Venus is bringing the sun's light from its new moon conjunction on August 8th into contact with Venus, and Venus is going to beam a lot of energy over at Pluto. At the same time, Sirius is now in its heliacal rising and becoming visible in the sky. All of this can be constructed as maybe some positive portent that is for the world and is for you as a rising sign, and then sun and moon sign. So we're going to do all signs, but I'm just going to make it really quick and make it really hopefully fun to say one or two keywords for each of the rising signs. So I'm going to open up the chart. So let me just pause the video while I grab it. Okay, so I finally did get our chart backing up, and here we go. And let's talk about some of the sky stories that this may be telling us individually and for the collective. We're going to do all signs as always, so stay tuned for your sign. Your rising sign is always the most accurate, but then you can also look at your sun sign and moon sign. If you're born in the day, check out the moon, a sun. And if you're born at night, check out your moon. But I mean, they all can be applicable actually. So, but most accurate is your rising. Now, your ascendant, your rising sign, go to astro.com or AstroSeek, put your data in there, cast your chart and see what is the sign that's rising on the eastern horizon, which is the sign that's called your ascendant or your rising sign. All right, so let's get going, guys. I didn't want to make this complicated. I wanted to show you how simple this is. Here is the sun in Leo. Yes, Lionsgate 8-8. But here's Sirius over here at 14 degrees of Cancer, having absolutely nothing to do with what's going on August the 8th. And this year especially, I mean, Sirius will rise at different times of the year, every single year, usually sometime in mid-August. Now, what I would like to say is the Venus-Pluto thing is important because Sirius is rising over here at 14 degrees of the sign, visible in the sky on the 11th. And that position is sextile or invisible to this Venus moon, right? And by 10 degrees, it's sextile, but it's a whole sign sextile. So it's in a harmonious relationship to the moon Venus conjunction. And it's also in a relationship to the idea here of this bringing some harmony because Pluto and Venus are in a trine. Now, one of the things that's happening is that Venus is on Lucifer, so is the moon. Lucifer is an asteroid. Now, you know, how to interpret that asteroid is interesting. You could interpret it as a fall from grace, a fall from power. You can interpret it as looking for the part of you that is got some inner darkness, that's a rebel, bucking the status quo, breaking the rules. Because what was Lucifer supposed to have done, right? But created a war in heaven by dissing his dad. So whatever the archetype of that light bringer, Lucifer, is to you, I want you to understand when we do the all signs that that energy is really entwined with moon and Venus, or is a light bringer, a light bearer. Lucifer, the brightest angel of all. Lucifer is not Satan. Satan is the adversary in the Old Testament, for instance, of the Hebrew Bible, and in the Christian tradition as well. There's always a confusion between Lucifer and Satan. That's not the same energetic at all. I'm not going to go into that now. The adversary is that which tests us. That's Satan. Get thee behind me, Satan. But Lucifer is some other story. So we won't go there, but I should say that don't think I'm talking about the devil or Satan is with Venus and the moon. I'm talking about an archetypal energy of a very bright star, light, often was called Lucifer morning star, or Lucifer was called the evening star, and the morning star, I mean, and you know, that's an aspect of Venus, right? Venus can be a morning star or an evening star, and Lucifer was often denoted as the morning star. So if you watch that TV show, Lucifer is called Lucifer Morning Star, right? That's his name. So if you think about Venus already having an intimacy with the name Morning Star, and Lucifer as well often being called Lucifer Morning Star, I think that you can say that's a pretty cool Venus in the sky conjunct the moon that's just finished up with that sun over here, you know, and is now becoming a very slight crescent visible in the sky. As it moves away from the dark moon position, it begins to wax and get stronger and become more visible over the next 2 weeks as it moves towards the full moon that it's going to become in Aquarius. Now, one of the things I need to say is that I feel like this is auspicious for all in the United States, especially because as well, a trine to Pluto is going to be bringing some kind of positive power, female power, female money power, good money news, good power news of some sort. Venus also can power up something to do with a female in power, like rising to some new stature during the aftermath of this August 11th. So the day before, the day of, and the day after. And with the crescent moon, whatever's going on with power and money and all of that, it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger as the weeks progress toward the full moon. Now, the other cool thing here is that there is a star sitting with this moon Venus combination called Avior. It used to be called Carina. It's from the keel of the ship in what is called Argos Navis or Navis Argos. It's the big ship constellation. You can't see it here in the northern hemisphere. You can see it in the southern hemisphere, and it's associated with the legend of Jason and the Golden Fleece and the Argonauts and all of that Greek myth. And so in the 1930s, the British maybe the Naval Academy decided, or was it the Air Force? Anyway, the British decided to take that constellation and chunk it down into sections of the ship because it was so big. So this is the keel of the ship where this avior sits. And I think I just want to broadly say there's not a lot of descriptions for avior, the star that sits with Venus and that sits with the moon. So I'd rather say something along the lines that something to do with seafaring, bold adventures, grand heroic outcomes, chasing after the magical and the golden fleece and the mythical, going for some kind of, you know, bold, daring adventure in one's life and chasing after something bold and grand. Now, as I'm going to just talk about the United States because Sirius is so important to the United States because it's on the sun when the United States was born. And when it becomes visible, it's going to have some extra weight. Maybe in the United States, this could also portend something along the lines of a bold vision, a bold grand gesture, a bold ambitious declaration by the government, maybe even coming from, say, the vice president, because there's a moon Venus up there. And the reason I think that could happen is, of course, because the Virgo zone of the chart, where this is all happening, happens to be in the United States, the 10th house, the top of the chart. Yeah, to double checking my math. So US is a Sag rising in the Sibley chart. So and then the other part of that is, of course, the second house, right? Pluto's in the money house of the United States. Venus and the moon are in the power house, the 10th house of government bodies and people in power. So big announcements by the government to do with finances that are good, maybe coming through a female or just a money announcement that would be very perceived as very positive by the public. And maybe it's going to be more stimulus or some new grand monetary thing or something like that. So who knows? Pay attention, August 9th, 10th, and 11th. So let's do all signs. We're starting again with Leo. Leo's getting all the luck this time because it is Leo season and because it's the chart that is here as the actual tightness of Venus and moon are happening. And for me, as a someone living, was this Queens, New York? If you live on the East Coast of the United States, sorry, I forgot to change it from a client. If you live on the East Coast of the United States of America or anywhere in the Eastern Seaboard of Canada or the US, you're likely having a Leo rising during the time that this Venus perfects the moon connection and also then is trining Pluto. So, or the moon perfects the Venus connection. So a couple keywords for you: Leo rising, sun and moon on this magical heliacal rising of Sirius, while Venus is trining Pluto on the 11th. Well, hey guys, it's a lot like I just delineated for the United States in this. Well, no, let me say that over. This is going to be about money for you, okay? Because your second house of money is where Venus and the moon co-join. So this is a positive beginning or a seed because it's a newly crescented waxing moon. So it's a good time to plant an intention, especially on the waxing moon when it's just a crescent, about what it is you want to achieve in your financial story, in your earnings, and your possessions. And the trine to Pluto in the 6th house is about your work as well. What kinds of changes do you want to make in your work habits and routines that can fortify greater gains in your physical possessions and your career. You know, the 2nd house is what we ingest in our mouth, what we put in, food and drink. And Pluto is in the 6th house of health protocols. So some of you Leos are going to change, maybe start a new beginning in food style as a result of this moon, as you lean into some kind of new direction that fortifies greater power and strength in your physical health and well-being over the next while. So there's an incubation of those directions for you on the 11th, on this magical day when this spiritual star Sirius is rising in the morning sky. I should have said heliacal means you can see it in the morning. It's rising in the morning now. All right, so Virgo, sun, moon, rising sign. Told you it's going to go quickly, guys, just keywords. So guys, hey, it's all about your body, your health, your identity, how you feel about you, your looks. And, you know, you might have heard some of this content already, of course, if you listen to my new moon, but we're going to go over it again. We're going to try to bring in that little magical bit too of Lucifer. What does it mean to shine your Venusian light, Virgo, in the world? And what does it mean to have Sirius sort of whispering sweet nothings from the 11th house? You know, Leo, I should have said this, you know, if you're still listening, you know, your 12th house is very hidden. You know, Sirius is rising in the house of dreams and imagination. But for you next signs up, you Virgos. Oh my goodness, this is a whole different ballgame, because Sirius rising in Cancer is happening in the house of friends and allies and benefactors and great gains from your career, financially and otherwise, and truly your hopes, dreams, and wishes. You may have a new rising here of those areas, a sense of renewal, and something is percolating in that zone, and that Venus wants to support that with her bright light and her Lucifer vibe right now, the light bringer in your first house. Now, don't forget, Lucifer was a rebel and you are that first house. So are you going to do a rebellious act of appearance and decide to, shear your hair off, or, change your fashion statements, or dramatically change your appearance in some rebellious way in order to shine more bright light out there, actually? But if you do something out of character, a lot of you Virgos, it's going to be a seed of a new direction. It's not going to just be the thing, it's still a crescent moon. As the trine to Pluto suggests, you can power up some great financial gain, some great money luck, and some romance luck, but also joy, fun, play, and pleasure. And I think that you could find some real sweetness there. So by activating your own sort of morning star light, and even if it means being a rebel in the house of your appearance and your identity, you are going to plant some seeds for greater joy, play, pleasure, fun, and money luck in your life. Pluto is in that place in your chart. Romance as well. Did I say that? All right, I think this is very much like my new moon video, and I might have said a little bit of different things for each of you in that new moon video. So if you always go back and watch that too, you're going to get a lot of this combination of the content where Venus and Pluto are trining each other from a little different spin though. So, hey, this is for you guys, these Libras here, Libra rising, especially sun and moon as well. The energy of that sweet nothings from Sirius rising in the sky at 14 Cancer, which happens every August, is a chance for you to renew your career direction or give it a new light. Sirius has been invisible, I believe, for almost a little bit more than 2 months. And so now you may have been offline, or you might have been disparaged about career, some of you Libra risings. And now Sirius is becoming visible in the sky again and giving you a refresh and a new beginning in your career. At the same time, or your ambitions or your reputation, and at the same time, and in a very spiritual alignment with your true self, Sirius, that energy of the spiritual wisdom and godlike nature of that star. And then you have this very hidden realms Venus and moon co-joining in your 12th house. This is definitely a time for you to take a dream journal to bed with you and pay attention to what comes to you in the middle of the night when you wake up. Write it down. In the morning, your first thoughts, in your meditations, if you do meditate, or your shamanic journeys, if you do that kind of thing, because Venus moon here is giving you incredible insights into things to do with women, money, beauty, love, art, artistic expression. Venus in Virgo, very detailed. I can't count the number of times I've met somebody who's a home designer, an architect, a very craft-like artisan who has a Venus in Virgo. So you'll get very practical and grounded Venusian ideas. They may be beautiful, they may be, artistic and sensual, but they're very practical and realistic and detailed. Now, the trine from Pluto is in your 4th house of real estate, home and sanctuary, nest and family of origin and mother. So for sometimes this can mean that there's going to actually be some revelation, Venus moon in the 12th, about your mom, but often it's just more like about the way you learn things from your family system of origin. Pluto's been terraforming your 4th house, and he's trying to revolutionize and upturn and uproot the stagnant energy of your childhood lessons and the things you learned, Libras, from your childhood. It's time to release, let go, let it, transform it, transmute it, take the lemonade, make it into lemons, take the hard lessons and make it into your gifts, all of that stuff. And this is a very sweet time, August 11th, give or take a few days around that, for some of this soul work to be very, very useful to you. Moksha, liberation, soul, that's a 12th, 4th house, and 8th house thing. So this is a very spiritual, heliacal rising of Sirius that you're going to benefit from, deep, profound insights that will affect your career for the positive. All right, keeping it timely and quick, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. Yay, 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 guys. Guess what? Sweet nothing's being whispered every year in the month of August from the rising of Sirius in the sky, different dates exactly, but this time so it's always in your ninth house, but this time we're stamping in a lovely Pluto trine Venus and Lucifer as well. So I think for you, and the star Avior, big adventures, I think a lot of the energy here for Scorpio people who are watery and deep and still and moody and intuitive and sensitive and all of that. Scorpio is also very brave and bold because it is a Mars ruled sign. That the energy of that ninth house is taking you into each year in August, a chance to refresh your sense of mission and purpose in life. The ninth house is a deep, profound place of Dharma. What's my purpose? Why am I here? And it often can bring spiritual guides and mentors into our life and opportunities to learn deep wisdom and knowledge, but also sometimes higher education. But we're talking about a deeper theme with Sirius being a spiritual star in a very soulful house. So there's Sirius rising over here on the 11th, at the very same time that Venus and the moon will join in the sky in your house of your deepest aspirations, dreams, and wishes, and also karmic rewards, that 11th house of good spirit, trining Pluto in the house of your local neighborhood, your siblings, sometimes your aunts, uncles, and cousins, your skills-based learning, and your self-expression. Often I'll see writers and songwriters and people who express themselves through word or lyric, written word, and writers of all kinds having a very active third house in their birth chart. For you, this can also be an opportunity to look at a trip or a journey that could come to you as an opportunity. Venus can bring opportunities, and she's in your 11th house, good spirit. A friend invites you on a trip, an ally says, I'm not using my cottage this weekend like I planned. Do you want it? Coming up. So look for some good news around a possible transformative, potent trip that you can take that helps you refresh your life's purpose, or a message from a sibling or a relative that does the same, Pluto in the 3rd, or some transformative event with friends and allies in your local neighborhood that you get a chance to go to sometime around August 11th or a little bit further out, maybe the week after, but precipitated by the August 11th magical day of Sirius rising with these aspects in the sky. Then always pay attention to a day before and after these kinds of things. So sorry, I just went into high speed. I was with Scorpio, right? It was Scorpio. Okay, Sagittarius, sun, moon, especially rising signs. All right, guys, this is yours, all yours to enjoy. Venus and the moon in, well, this doesn't look like that, but you'll have to trust me on it because the moon moves so quickly. But on August 11th, when Sirius is rising in the sky, there will be a moment when the moon and Venus are together in the sign of Virgo early in the day. And that initiation is happening in your 10th house of your career. And at the same time, this is where you're getting some real profound energy from the star Sirius, the dog star rising in this morning sky in the 8th house of deep wisdom, occult mystery, magic, supernatural and metaphysical stuff. So I'm going to focus on that a lot here, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising, because the nature of Sirius tends to be most of those 8th house delineations. And well, you could have some good money news, which would be fantastic. You can definitely look at this as a very soulful thing, okay? And I want you to look at it like, is there some kind of magic that's trying to reach me on this this Sirius heliacal, everyone pronounces a different rising morning day. And will it bring me some renewal or some clarity of something to do with my career path? And especially with Venus in the 10th house, that sometimes looks like a woman in your career place, helping you, assisting you, but also like more money or a promotion or an accolade. The trine from Pluto in the money house of possessions, earnings, and wages also matters a lot, right? Because this is obviously clearly showing up as a money, reputation, career energy. This trine is something sweet, something positive, something beneficial coming to you financially and in the career zone around the 11th of August and into the week ahead. So pay attention to what gets seeded here that may be in full bloom by the full moon a couple of weeks later. Capricorn, sun, moon, especially rising sign. Sweet nothings coming from Sirius, the dog star, rising in the house of marriage, in the house of significant others and business partners, legal contracts, and audience clients, and most others in your life. So you may not experience, every August you get the sense then for a lot of caps that new things are rising as possibilities after 2 months of languishing, Sirius invisible, in the house of dealing with other people. So one thing I'd simply say is every August is a great chance for you to connect with others, especially significant others, partners, marriage partners, deep, profound friends, old marriage partners will count, you know, the whole thing. I like that you have Venus and that with the moon, believe me or not, it's up there with the moon early in the day on the 11th in the 9th house and the Dharma house, the purpose house, the foreign trips and lands and travel house, the spiritual aspirations, soul and God house. So sometimes even the going back to school and learning things house, but this is like a very short transit, right? Venus moves quickly. She'll trine Pluto more than once a year, but it's the auspicious nature of the day. So she's with the morning star Lucifer, and she's shining a big bright light, maybe of rebellion or just, you know, lightness in the 9th house for you. Maybe for some of you caps, there's a chance to plan a trip, book a trip to a foreign shore. It would feel to me like that would certainly be one of the options. And then Pluto in your first house says that any trip that you do create to maneuver yourself out to a foreign land would, maybe with a partner, because of the rising in the 7th house of Sirius, would literally be hugely beneficial to your transformation, your physical health and well-being, and, you know, the continuing revolution of your identity and reforming of you. Like it's like Pluto got into your first house in 2008 and mushed you up into a cocoon and is trying to build you some butterfly wings. And by the time Pluto gets out of there in 2024, you'll be reborn. So it's been a long journey, Capricorns. I know you can nod your head and all relate. Your whole identity got molted and melted down. You know, my ex-husband's a Cap rising. 2008, he met me. We lived together, got married in 2012. 2016 we parted ways. 2009 20 we got the divorce underway, and you know, and in the meantime he retired and then he went back to work. I mean, his whole identity got changed up, mushed up, you know, married, divorced, retired, back to work, all kinds of identity changes happen and have been happening for him. So I'm just going to give you the flavor of what it's like to be a Capricorn rising. You can see how much shift in identity you guys have been going through. Not been easy. So there is this huge, I'm good friends with my ex-husband. He doesn't mind if I say all this stuff. Having dinner with him and his new wife soon this weekend. So you can see that that is happening as a positive development for you. And it's very much about identity, but it may be a chance to go to a foreign land or refine your life's purpose. This is me. I'm an Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. I got to keep going, guys. I got to drive my car out of my house soon. All right, so I feel like we are having this experience of every August, you know, heliacal rising of Sirius, whispering to us something new and refreshing and good and soulful that's birthing in our 6th house. And in this case, it's about our work and our service and our health. So health protocols to avoid sickness. Every August, you have to tell you guys, I can't make this stuff up. It's like every August I do a cleanse. And now I start to think back, every serious cleanse I've ever done has started in August. So there's that Sirius rising in our Aquarian 6th house. And the other part of that is it's about the work we do in the world and the way we do the work we do. And, you know, often the 6th house gets looked at like the employment house, but it's deeper than that. It's like how it's our karmic debt house. So where's the service we want to offer to the greater good and make our work service instead of servitude and destiny and not duty. There's a deeper soulful energy to that 6th house than is often delineated. Now, Venus is with the moon on the morning of the heliacal rising on August 11th in the 8th house of other people's money. And a lot of that for some of us Aquarius risings is going to look like, despite the fact that Venus is in Virgo, the sign of her fall, she can always rise from a fall. Some kind of money opportunity, especially with a trine to Pluto. Pluto Venus can be a wealth yoga. Now Pluto's coming out of the 12th house of backroom negotiations and hidden things and dreams at night. So maybe not so much like an obvious opportunity that just lands like, oh my God, I got a chance to, cash in my lottery ticket because it won. I don't know that that's what we're looking at. It's really like, what is going on in which you could accrue money or financial positivity coming from spouse's money, investment money, bank loans, tax rebates, maybe I overpaid my taxes. I'm going to get the government telling me they owe me money. That would be nice, that kind of thing. And Pluto in the 12th is often a sign that whatever is going to show up because of the moon may not be visible to us right away. Because we can't see the 12th house from the ascendant. That's why it's our dreams at night, inner life, meditation, past lives. It's often not consciously available to us. So Pluto's trying to power up some good money stuff for a lot of Aquariuses, but we may not be able to see it until the full moon, guys. We might have to be patient here and recognize that whatever this is going to be, it may not fully blossom into our awareness until the full moon in Aquarius 2 weeks from now, especially for Aquarius risings, because we're getting a full moon twice, right? Blue moon. There was a full moon last time in Aquarius last month, and now another one coming up this month in the tail end of Aquarius. So I'm going to say a lot of us Aquarians have to wait to see the result of this Venus-Pluto trine. And yet we know it's going to refresh our service, our work, our health, and our financial well-being. Pisces, sun, moon, and especially rising sign folk. You guys have every August rising of Sirius, the dog star in Cancer, refreshing your 5th house of romance, love, fun, play, vitality, inspiration, the muse, creativity, children, sexuality, romance. Okay, so August is really good for you, Pisces. I bet you can go back every August and think around mid-August, anywhere between like the 11, it changes every year, but August sometime, you've got a refresh in that part of your life. But it's a deeply soulful refresh, not idle sexuality or mere pleasure or mere spiritual muse-driven impulses. Muse-driven impulses, but a deeper spiritual impulse, the dog star, the alignment with the divine impulse is sparking your 5th house every August. So yay! This time it happens with Venus alongside Lucifer, the asteroid, and Avior, the big seafaring ship, full of adventure and a mythic, heroic stuff, the keel of the ship, and Lucifer, that bright light, in the 7th house of others, and especially your spouse or business partner or anyone that you're really, really dependent on, relying on, or they have a strong connection to you because, like, say, your client or something like that. So some of you Pisces have this sort of like Venusian breakthrough, maybe even a fallen relationship coming into a renewed state. In renewed state, Venus is fallen. She rules love. This is the house of committed love. Maybe some relationship that was fallen gets a little seed of renewal with the crescent moon, trining Pluto. Pluto in the 11th house of friendships and dreams and wishes and cosmic karmic rewards and good spirit and all of that. So I'd say that for some of you Pisces, this is a renewal of a friendship that meant something to you, an alliance or some significant other coming back and refreshing. It can also perhaps simply be also an opportunity coming through another person to achieve greater financial gain, because Venus can be a money goddess and Pluto is in a financial house. One of the houses of finances is the 11th. I'm going to be doing a course on money in the astrology chart. Stay tuned for that in the month of September, because I'm really loving some of the learning I'm getting as I began to study mine and other clients' charts about how we can squeeze the money juice out of our natal chart. All right. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Now, for us, this is happening because I'm a sun and moon, Aries. This is happening where every August we have the heliacal rising of Sirius, the dog star, sweet spiritual, in-depth sweet nothings given to us every year at this time in our 4th house of real estate and home. Good things come from home, from our ancestral line, from our deep inner life of our family of origin and our own in the root of who we are. It is a very spiritual house, like the 8th and the 12th. The 4th house is that kind of place, a moksha house. So a spiritual awakening and a spiritual revolution and a spiritual something every August. Now, this is true for me too. I seem to have spiritual breakthroughs quite often and develop spiritual directions in August. It is also at the same time involving Lucifer lit up Venus in your 6th house with the moon, crescent moon, like a fingernail, bringing a seed of something new, waxing and waxing over the 2 weeks to the full moon to fully show you what this newness is about. It has to do with the work you're here to do in the world, the service you're here for, but opportunities with women, women colleagues, women allies, women in the place of your employment, women employees maybe, to benefit you in both your health protocols, but also to benefit you in your work. Now, I had just had a great healing session with a woman today that I've known as a colleague, and we've supported each other's careers and everything else. And I met her in Bali at a business coaching thing years ago. And it is an amazing thing she does. It's some kind of healing modality called the crysted something or quantum something. I will put a link to Demetria Mencella's class, healing thing that she does in my description box. I hope I remember for you guys, but because I found it profound, like, oh my God, like amazing stuff happened to me in the hour with her. And she has a sale on right now for her mailing list, which is insane, like $33 for an hour, which is really, really, really unbelievable from her regular 111 rate, 111. So the reason I'm bringing all that up is because I experienced benefiting from a female colleague ally today in my work energy, right? Around physical healing of my health because of this very slow tear to my muscle, my glute healing. So look, and you say, oh, well, that's not till the 11th that Venus will trine Pluto with the moon. Yes, that's true. But it's really, these energies are not that exact, right? I'm recording this on August the 6th. So it's not that far off. So already energy like that is showing up in my life. Venus trining Pluto in the 10th house of career. A lot of Aries have been feeling since 2008 like they're in one big career revolution, mashup, change. You know, it's almost been, funny enough, one of the things I talked about, Demetria, was I want to get really, really focalized and clear and crystal clear on where I best spend my vitality and power over the next 25 years I have left on the planet. I'm 59, 25 to 30 years, according to my lifeline, because I would really like to get it right. You know, I really want to maximize my vitality in the best possible direction. That is true for all of you, Aries. None of you feel so sanguine about your career because Pluto is literally revolutionary, transforming and mutating and metamorphosizing it. Nothing but the most potent, powerful thing for you will do. So this Venus is lending a hand. And so pay attention to August 11th, a day or two before and after, for some new seeds of career excitement, career truth, career potency that can benefit you financially, health-wise, and often, as I said, Venus in the 6th house, women, allies from the work environment to support this new direction or new development, this new potency. Taurus, sun, moon, rising sign. All right. Hey, this is going to be the sweet nothing of Sirius rising every August, as the star is known to do with its spiritual blessings, in your 3rd house of siblings, short trips and travel, the local neighborhood, skills-based learning, online stuff, self-expression. Okay, got the gist? Sometimes aunts, uncles, and cousins can be here. Now, this is a spot that you can refresh every year. So you might want to go back and think about, in August, do you tend to get more in touch with your siblings? Do you have them? Do you tend to have refreshing things happen in the local neighborhood? Do you tend to want to sign up for courses every August to learn a skill or something functional for yourself? Okay, just go back and look. You probably might find a pattern there. It's a house of the goddess. And if you're prone to seeing tarot card readers and oracles and psychics and astrologers, you probably find that you have a pattern of looking at these things every August. Just go look back, you'll probably notice, because that's when the rising of Sirius refreshes that part of your chart. Now, you know, Venus and the moon together in your 5th house of romance, love, play, and pleasure is going to open up a door for you in this next week or two as the moon builds towards the full moon. So you've got a seed of something new. Okay, honestly, it could be a new love relationship for a single Taurus, or a flirtation, or someone's in love or infatuated with you. It could be a new female friendship. It could be you're trying to have a baby, pregnant with a baby girl, or just fertility juice with Venus there in some ways. You know, she's a benefic. You know, any fallen friendships, any fallen love stories, any fallen play, joy, pleasure stories could be renewed here. Some new beginnings powered up with Pluto. And, you know, you could also maybe see this as a financial speculation, money risk payoff, putting some money down on a risky bet of some kind, like the casino or the lottery ticket or the horses, or like a speculative risky investment. Don't take me for financial advice, and that's what I'm giving you. I'm just saying that Venus is a money goddess. That's the kind of money house she's in, trining Pluto in the ninth. Now, Pluto in the ninth is also, you know, powering up this deeper part of the soulful story of your life. And for the ninth house, it's really about, you know, your true calling and your purpose. So getting money so that you can just follow your passion or your educational direction. If you want to go to school, Pluto up there. Oh, you poor Taurus risings, especially, but Taurus people, you know, Pluto's been causing all kinds of, you know, deep transformation about your dharma, your purpose. And that includes changes perhaps in direction with what you want to learn at college or university for some of you. Now, Pluto can also bring some powered up opportunity financially from a foreign shore or land, okay, or from a guide or mentor. So look for those options as this time of this auspicious aspect pattern arrives. Gemini, sun, moon, rising sign. Well, hey guys, Geminis, you're going to see that every August, the rising, her heliacal rising of Sirius in the sky, so it's a star you can see again in the morning sky, is happening in your second house of finances, money, earnings, and possessions, self-worth, self-love, your voice, your vocation, many meanings to that second house. So it does refresh you every August, maybe with new possibilities to increase your well-being financially and be more resourceful. This time around, Venus chimes in from the fourth house of real estate and home, trining Pluto in the eighth house. I'm going to say, I mean, that's very often a chance to sell real estate, buy real estate, or benefit from some financial gain from your home, or with a woman in your hometown, or from your hometown, or close to home. And Pluto in the eighth, well, it's been, for you Gemini rising, especially folk, it's been a terraforming and a revolutionizing in the eighth house of death, Pluto, the god of death, with your finances and your earnings and your savings and your money. All right, so some of that has been going on for a long, long time. And now Venus is chiming in from the real estate house, attempting perhaps to bring you something really, really good here. And so I could say it definitely looks like a possible money opportunity for the Gemini rising, especially, but same with the Gemini sun and moon. Okay, last but so not least, the star of the show, Cancer. Because you Cancer rising every year in August get this heliacal rising of the star Sirius in your zone of your identity, with who you are. You can't ask for anything better. Can you? I don't think so. So you get to benefit. You are the one who is rising and refreshing every August. And you may feel for about 2 months before this, you know, for you guys, for Cancers, it may feel kind of sloggy every June and July when Sirius is invisible, right? Maybe even May, June, July, depends, you know, but the idea here is the star's been like hiding out, and now you're getting this, ooh, you know, refresh every August, like you're coming back online. So Cancer rising, this is really sweet. Your identity, your purpose, your sense of self, your sense of wholeness about who you are gets fortified right now, and in a very deep spiritual and true way. Venus is in your third house of siblings, trips and travel, trips and travel, skills-based learning, aunts and uncles, self-expression, especially writing. With Virgo as a sign on your third house, a lot of Cancers can benefit from writing in the third house. Now, you know, with the moon there too, and they're on the light of Lucifer. So it could be about someone else giving you a hand, a female in your local neighborhood, a female friend who's like a family member, a cousin female, and sibling female, boosting you, Cancers, and boosting you in your public presentation, your outreach to audience and other and clients, to your even supporting you in a positive way with a primary connection like a love relationship. That could be, for instance, a trip that you and your spouse or partner take that fortifies the union and brings it more power and sizzle and intensity and maybe sexual yum. Or it could be that, again, as I said, a sibling can support you financially, or not financial, but in your outreach to your public reputation, to power up how you meet the audience, the clients, and the others, the marketplace as well. So, you know, my sister's a Cancer rising. I'm going to start promoting her Reiki healing business shortly on my channel because she's amazing. I've had more than one session with her and her website is up and running. So I would be supporting her. I'm a sibling supporting her outreach. So, well, since I said that, I'll put her link to her website in my description box below. I'm supporting a lot of people right now. Isn't that Aquarian of me? Okay. So I hope I remember all my description boxes in the link below thingy. I'm going to finish this up and say thank you for listening. Enjoy this magical heliacal rising of Sirius, and the seagull agrees with me that it can be quite important if you understand that Venus is a benefic trining Pluto, and that even though she's fallen in Virgo, all fallen planets rise, just like all risen planets fall. So it could be a very rising of her highest potential to bring goodness to you somewhere in your life. Thanks for listening, guys. Like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications and all of that. And join me in my mailing list every week. On Sunday, my subscribers get a really good forecast of the week ahead, and they're entered in a monthly draw for a free reading and get 3% discount off readings with me, one-time use. But hey, it's good to have a one-time code with me. You can use it for yourself, and if you're ethical, gift it to a friend, but obviously don't just give my code away. Okay. All right, see you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Ciao.